What is up, you sexy people? Today on the show, we're going to talk about how to get featured on popular podcasts. So while people are jumping on and the audience is getting wild, happy Wednesday, May 2025, or whatever year it is, wherever you're in the world. Hopefully, life is treating you great out there. Today, we have a very special show. One of my favorite people in the world, one of the best products for his category, and one of the worst marketers at the same time. And I'm hoping we can fix and work on that with him. I'm going to let the audience, as they start piling in. This is the first show. We're trying out the StreamYard.com service. They didn't sponsor or anything like that, but it's a really interesting way to stream to our Facebook page and YouTube and LinkedIn all at the same time. So we'll see how that goes as people start coming in. Wherever you're watching this from, leave a comment. I'd love to know your middle name. Why don't we do a fun one? Something kind of funky. My middle name starts with a D. I actually don't want to give up my middle name. I just thought about that. I don't want people like filling out my applications. I just saw a weird thing today, Mitchell. Someone put my name on Fiverr and they'll do your email marketing for $50, which I thought was pretty great. I was like, man, that's awesome. All right, so we have Lola here. Jason Blake is in the house. All right, so we have all these other people coming in while the show is getting started. So 1 second as the party's about to get going. We have about 1 hour. Allison, hello, great to see you. In 1 hour, we are going to try to get Adam on popular podcasts. So it's unlikely we're going to get Adam on like the Obama podcast or Dave Ramsey. But what I'm hoping we're able to do today is inspire you and show you some structure about how we're being able to do that with the Noah Kagan person. And so Mitchell on our team, who does a lot of the magic behind the scenes, is going to show you all of the impressiveness that he does. I'm going to give it 1 more minute as people are coming in. Charlotte is here. The party is here. I love this, man. You guys are amazing. And it is so good to see every single one of you. I'm jumping into just checking out to make sure that all of our technical stuff, dude, I'm like not making sense what I'm even saying. I'm mumbling a lot today. But we're going to get it on. Let me just show you some of the guests who are going to be with us. I've got Mitchell Cohen and one of my very best friends, Adam Gilbert from mybodytutor.com. Adam, I got to give you a shout out. Nice wearing the shirt, dude. You got to wear the brand. Oh, wow. So it's actually going crazy. So Stefano's here, and it's actually on LinkedIn. So this is the first time we've actually streamed to LinkedIn, but Dejan is here, Lebong is here, Syed is here, Chris Whitling is here. All right, it's time. Adam, say what's up, man.
What's up? Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited about this. You can't hear me?
Did I mute myself?
I can hear him. I can hear you.
I don't think I muted myself. Oh, there it goes. So, Adam, yes. Hello.
Hello.
Mitchell,
can you hear me now?
Yes, Mitchell.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, let's just get it on. So for everyone watching along, if you're watching on LinkedIn, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you go to okdork.com, I'm going to post this in the comments at all these places, okdork.com/getting-featured-doc. It's a live doc that we're all going to be working off of live. So you can copy all the scripts. You can copy all the information. You can copy the templates and the spreadsheets that we're using for this outreach. So quick story on Adam. He has a product called mybodytutor.com. I've used it, and basically it's a health coach for executives or people looking to get in shape. And Adam has a great product. The marketing and getting customers has always been hard. And so one of the ways that's been helpful for him is getting on other shows. So I thought, why not bring him on this show and let's see if Mitchell and him can do some magic on getting him on some podcasts or on some YouTube shows. So Mitchell, I'm going to just have you take over and kind of lead the show.
So, all right, cool. Let's do it.
If people are ready, I want to hear. Yeah. And if people are ready, wherever you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube, can we get some yeehaws? I'd love to see the yeehaws if you guys are ready for the show to get started. Oh, wow. You guys are going crazy. Yes. So if you guys got some yeehaws in you, I just posted the link. Let's get it on. Mitchell, take it over.
Cool. So I think we'll use this doc that Noah mentioned, and then Adam will probably have you share your screen here in a bit and walk through some of the things. The one thing, a couple things to consider. Like, yeah, we're doing this in 1 hour in a show, and hopefully we get some bites. But what I was telling Adam earlier is like the big key to a lot of this is like sincerity and kind of playing the long game. So we'll get the system and structure in place and potentially get some bites right off the bat too. So that being said, Adam, do you want to share your screen and pull up that doc?
Sure.
All right. Well, while Adam is pulling up his doc and getting the screen shared, what I'd love to know from all of you guys is that if you were to get on a show, what would you want to talk about, or what is your one thing? If you have a URL for your site or your business or just a topic, what's the topic that you would want to be talking about? I think a lot of people just have nothing interesting to say, so you shouldn't be on any shows. So what I'd love to see in the comments from you is what's your URL, or what would be your topic that talk about? And I'll call you out and highlight some of the other people while Adam gets his screen ready. All right, Adam, let's close down, or no, don't close StreamYard, but Mitchell, keep going.
Okay. So like the first couple points in here is trying to basically reverse engineer where your audience is. And so, Adam, yours is a little unique just because you could take so many different angles of pretty much anyone, right, is going to want to better themselves with diet and fitness. So you definitely have, I think, probably the demographics of just people who listen to podcasts in general. Probably want to better themselves, but I think it's always easier to just start with a list. Otherwise you're just paralyzed by too many choices, like, oh, that could be a good show, this could be a good show. So that's one of the things that we have in here, and I saw that you put about like 10 or 20 shows on there that we'll kind of focus on. And then to start out, before we talk about like where the audience is and some of the tools we could use, I think we just put something on LinkedIn, and have you post quickly, just search your first degrees and see if anybody has podcast or podcasting in their descriptions. And then we'll just throw a quick post on there too and see if we get any bites.
So Adam, why don't you pull up LinkedIn on your screen and I'll bring it on air. I think one of the things that Mitchell's saying is, a lot of people are saying, Marshall Bodies is talking about athletic performance. Dominic is from Slovakia. Alexander will talk about hiring engineers. We're going to talk about how to find your audience, and then how to make your outreach and actually the templates to send. I think one of the key things that Mitchell just highlighted that I want everyone to pay attention to and copy is look at who you might already have access to. So the two things that we're going to do right away, because I'm hoping before the hour ends, Adam's going to have a show booked from someone that he admires or is interested in. But number one, on LinkedIn, just post. And so Mitchell, do you have some of the text that he can do? And then two, on LinkedIn, we're going to search to see if he has any friends who have podcasts. So Adam, if you're on LinkedIn, I'm gonna add it to the screen. So there it is. So Mitchell, what should he be doing here? What are the two things?
Yeah, let's first just do a post. So I mean, you could just copy and paste what I put in that doc, but Adam, I would make it more in your own voice. Let's see what I put here. So I just put I'm looking to go on more podcasts right now and share success stories. Anyone have recommendations, referrals to share? And then at the end, I said I'm giving away 3 months free for any intros. I don't know if you do that or if that's even a thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I could certainly do that if necessary. I don't know if that's going to sound like, I mean, I don't know.
Sounds a little desperate, doesn't it?
Yeah, we can. And again, this is like your first degree network. So you don't necessarily need to incentivize fully. They already know you, right?
Adam,
so
get off
StreamYard.
Adam, we don't need to see your StreamYard link. Thank you, buddy. So I just want to highlight some of the things again from Mitchell that he's doing. There you go, buddy. All right. So, when you ask for referral, if I saw, so for the audience out there, if you saw someone post this, and this is what a lot of people are doing, anyone have any recommendations or referrals they can share? Like, this is the kind of shit I ignore. I mean, what do you guys think about that? And look, I'm not trying to be mean, but what we're trying to do is be effective. And so, maybe how would you guys word it to maybe getting some better responses or getting people to paying a little bit more attention, or maybe doing a referral? So Chad or David or Lola, I'd be curious what you guys think about that. Maybe Chris Whitling. So for me, Adam, I think what I would, yes, like okay, keep going. Write your words. This is what, now I'm getting excited. I'm really passionate about helping others lose weight and reach their goals.
To share my best.
Okay. Wow. I feel like I'm hater number one today, but I want it to be really effective for you, Adam. So let's actually reverse it. So like,
Okay.
it's all about you, which is good. But I think the two things on LinkedIn, we're going to find people that maybe have podcasts. But on this one, do you think it might be more effective? It's like, yo, who's your favorite podcaster that you know? And then your friends would actually want to comment on that versus like, oh, Adam's got 13 years of wisdom. Like, all right, I'm trying to get a job today. I'm trying to, I'm busy by myself. So I think I would try to frame it as like, hey, I'm really passionate about helping others lose weight. It's fine. Or you could literally just post, hey, who's your favorite podcaster that you know and why?
That's really, yeah.
Because that I would actually respond to. I'd be like, oh, Noah Kagan, he's got my favorite podcast. And I know this guy. I liked him better when he had hair though. So Sky Coleman is asking, and by the way, if you're not in our Facebook group, it's okdork.com/group. It's a free group. You can talk to smart people like me, Mitchell, and Adam about different things and connect with other smart people. But we will go into some of the tools to how do you figure out the podcast to be on. I'll just tell you, one of them is Chartable, and the other is Podcast Notes. So Adam, honestly, this kind of post, like, what do you guys think about this in the audience?
I think that's really good. I mean, it's an engaging question. Everyone loves to kind of share who they know. So kind of it's like, oh, I know this guy. I know that.
Adam.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Your iMessage, you see that little message thing you have open has number 6 on it? Quit that.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. And then the 18,000 tabs you have open in your browser, maybe we'll close that off in a second. So why don't you hit post there? So hit post.
Okay.
Let's post that. And then Mitchell, what's the second thing you wanted him to do?
Okay, cool. So the other thing is in the LinkedIn search. So if you just click the link there, it should carry over the specific search. And basically it's just searching the word podcast for your first degree connections. So that will include podcasting, podcasters, podcast. Yeah, so go ahead and click enter there. Yeah.
And so do you want to do first connections on this? Is pretty neat. So again, I want to highlight for everyone out there, you probably know someone who has a podcast. We're going to show you other things about referrals for podcasts and other messaging types. So are we looking for first level of connection? Is it people, like that people
thing?
Thing?
Yeah, go ahead and click people.
Okay.
Oh, Ethan. So I'm going to call out what Ethan just said on YouTube. So it's youtube.com/okdork if you're not subscribed there. He also said another great way of framing it. Ethan, this is awesome, man. I want to give some great podcasters shout outs. Comment with your show or your friend's podcast link below.
I like that.
I like it. And so Adam, you clicked people. Now connections. I think you need to click first on connections.
Yeah.
And so look, guys, we're not doing it ourselves. Adam is doing it. This is the class. This is part of the live classes. We're having someone just like you do a show and actually see the results. Dude, so you have 24 people that have.
Look at this. Look at this.
Damn. Here, I'm going to go check my LinkedIn for this. And if you guys are on LinkedIn, we actually have a really big audience watching this on LinkedIn. You guys should be doing this for yourselves and then taking this list. So Adam, what I think might make sense, should we Mitchell, what do you think? Should we message them? Should we put them in the outreach list? We want to get Adam on a show today. And so, well, not on the show, but book the show today. What do you think you should do? Adam,
let's just do a quick browse through of anybody that sticks out of like, oh yeah, I forgot I know that person, that they would be perfect. Like just a cursory sort of look. Does anyone stick out that you could just message real quick?
I mean, I could try him. I was on his podcast already, Eric's. It's really interesting how what's interesting to me just in this exercise is just how many people I know who have podcasts.
Okay.
I mean, it really, yeah.
So I think the two things here is let's just start messaging people because that's number one. And then what we're going to do, Adam's internet is weak. Luckily, Adam is physically strong, but his internet is weak. And so, Adam, here's what we're going to do. While me and Mitchell, I'm going to just remove you from the stream just for a second. I think your audio should still be on. Adam is going to start messaging some of these people. His internet's a little slow and it's kind of a little choppy to watch. But Adam, what kind of messaging, what kind of things do you think you should say to these people that he found on his podcast? And some of the tools, I'm going to share my screen while Adam is sending some of these messages. Mitchell, what kind of messages should he be sending?
I think again, like sort of leading with sincerity of depending on the relationship, right? Of one, just seeing if they're there, like, hey, what's up, man? And bringing something of interest before it's like, hey, go do this thing for me. Either checking in with them about something that you know about them personally, or just like open up their profile and see what they've posted recently and say, oh, saw that you posted this. This looks cool. And just talk about something relevant rather than just asking for yourself.
So I think I'm sharing my screen now because I've got this, Adam, there's a thing called cable, and they've got Ethernet now. I know you're doing this. So AOL, Adam's email address is still mybodytutor@aol.com. But let's actually experiment. So I'll just do it as well while Adam does it. And I think everyone else could do it and follow along. So you search podcasts, search people, hit connections, hit first, apply. So one thing I want to highlight, Mitchell, you do a really great job of this. When Mitchell does his messaging, Mitchell, maybe you can pull up one of your messages that you've done. And I'm actually I'll send it to Jason Calacanis. Why don't I try that out? Adam, are you getting some of these messages ready? Have you written any? Oh, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you, buddy. I got you, buddy. Don't worry. I like calling you buddy for some reason because I know you call your kids buddy. Yo, your internet is choppy, dog. Like the internet is so choppy. Yeah, man. All right, so let's just try sending some of these messages. So I think that the things here that I would highlight on this message thing, and I'll just do Jason Calacanis live while Adam is copying the same messages. So Mitchell, we should compliment him on something if we actually believe it. 2, how do you put in the ask? And then 3, I think one of the key things is a lot of people, the number 3 is the most important. They send one message and then they just wait around like a dud. Do you know what I'm saying, Mitchell? You got to send multiple messages, not in an annoying way, but then even more important than the first message, Mitchell, what's more important than the first message?
The follow-up.
The follow-up. The follow-up is the most important. So I use followup.cc, or we have a spreadsheet. And if you guys don't have the doc, it's okdork.com/getting-featured-doc. I've been posting the link, and so you guys can use it. So Mitchell, what should I say to him? And then I'll send him an email, and then we'll see what happens. Hey, Jason.
So he's startup podcast.
This week in startups.
This week in startups, yeah.
Yeah, what should we say, guys? There's actually so many. Oh, Nathan Lotka. Oh, not going to do that one. Dan Schur. All right, well, let's try. What would you say?
I'm just pulling up like his stuff real quick and seeing what he's all about. And another big part of this too, and which we'll touch on, is we've gone through and had Adam write a handful of shows that he either watches or people that he thinks would be good fits. It's so much easier to do this exercise with people that you actually like listen to and like consume their content or know personally, because then it's sincere, other than like it's hard for me to just say what you should say to Jason right now because I don't know Jason or really listen to that show. But the things that I would do is, as I'm starting this research, is like pulling up his Twitter, pulling up his podcast or his YouTube channel. And if there's anything, the things I'm looking for is like, if there's anything, 1, just to see what he's interested in, but 2, that looks like broken, whether or it can be improved upon easily. Those sort of are low hanging fruit things. It's like, yo, I just noticed this thing that like you're giving him something valuable right away.
All right. So how do you think I should frame that?
In your message to Jason?
Yeah, like Adam as well with your screen that you're pulling up on some of these things. So I think what's more important for the audience, Mitchell, here is maybe some of the structure. And I think you've done a really good job. So what I'm going to do, Mitchell, is I'll share just as an example one of the emails that you've done recently that I thought was really, really well done. There it is. So I'm going to show, this is an email that Mitchell sent to the founder of Strava that actually ended up working. It was really interesting about, I just want to show like the framework that Mitchell did so that we can, kind of get an idea of things that are working. So here it is. So this is the video that Mitchell, or the email that Mitchell wrote. So I just want to show it as an example. And this is what Mitchell was talking about, what Adam should be sending. So Adam, I want you to start sending some of these messages to people. So number one, he kind of uses this flattery right away, and he does something for them. So he loves Mark's story, and Mark ended up being on the show and said yes. Mitchell actually uses Strava. I personally use Strava, and he rated an app store. So you got to think about this. Like, number one, flattery, love your product, and I've given you something already. Mitchell, I have found it that when you say the producer, that it gets a better response. I think it doesn't seem as desperate. So if people don't have producers, or you don't have a Mitchell, make up a Mitchell for now. Don't lie. Just make up an email address that's like, hey, the producer of the show. And then don't put your name on it. If you put your name in like a fake name, then it's a lie. But I think the point is like having it come from someone else. It creates this level of, what would you say? It's like a level of status or like aura, Mitchell.
Yeah, I think so. But it also just depends on the who we're reaching out to as well.
Okay. And so then in terms of the other things, producer, Noah, kind of like, wow, this guy has some accolades or credits. He uses Strava, and then, he has an audience, and he thinks it'd be amazing to promote you to that audience. And so this is the exact email that we've been sending. And I think subject line is like, promoting Strava to our audience, or promoting Strava to 200,000 people a month. And so I think the key thing is like compliment why it's great, and then some, very specific call to action for them. So Adam, I'm gonna bring your screen back on. Hopefully the internet's a little bit more better, but we're able to. Oh, there's your screen. All right. So hey, Monica, I came across your podcast recently. Oh, this is great. Can you guys see it? I think some of the audience can't see it.
I wrote,
Adam,
hi, Monica. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
So I wrote, hi, Monica. I came across your podcast recently and have been on so many episodes. My favorite is the one with AJ Jacobs. Are you still doing this podcast?
Well, I mean, you could check that. So I generally don't like saying, are you still doing the podcast? Because like one Google search would tell you that answer.
It seems like the last episode was in May of 2019.
So if that's the case, then you kind of know she's not doing it.
Right. Exactly. All right.
So I generally don't like wasting that kind of message. Is there anyone else who still has a show that's out there? And then maybe while you're doing that, so why don't you keep looking to see if there's anybody else in there? Mitchell, the two sites that you recommended I thought were interesting that I want to show people is chartable.com in terms of figuring out what shows to get on. And so let me click on that link. So on chartable.com, I'm just going to pull it up on the link that you guys can see. Adam, are you looking for other people there?
Yep.
All right. And so
I'm writing to someone else now.
Perfect. I like where you're with that.
I would still just send her that compliment if you actually binged her stuff and liked it, and then just don't ask for anything. If anything else, it makes her feel good, and then maybe she replies, and you're like, oh, and then you're asked like, I know you're not doing your show anymore. Anybody you could introduce me to that is doing a show, but if nothing else, just give her the compliment. You already have it typed out.
Dude, I like Mitchell. That's why you're so great.
Okay.
Look, he's all charitable, loves everyone. So one thing that Mitchell does, by the way, is that I think a lot of people are sending cheap messages like, hey, here's something, give me right away. And I think, Mitchell, you legitimately spend, it seems like, I don't know, 15 to 45 minutes per messaging of each person. And then the other thing I was asking, do you normally just message on LinkedIn and send an email? Do you normally do Instagram? Like, what else do you normally do to secure guests or get me on shows or get, other guests to come on our show?
Yeah. So a little bit about our process is we have in what we call an attainable list. And so rather than just like, oh, anyone will have on our show or get you on anyone's show, it's pretty targeted. Otherwise, it'd be really hard to say like where to even start. And so I look at the ones that I'm like personally excited about, like the Mark Gainey and Strava one, or like the Lululemon founder chips. And then because if I'm excited about it, it's easier for me to like be sincere about like reading their book or using their product. And then I'll just start following them, see where they're active. I put this in the doc of there's like a flirting phase that I kind of think of it as, where depending on who the person is and what the ask is, it's like before you just start to cold outreach, I'll either follow them on Twitter and turn on notifications, just kind of see what they're all about, and then start to like interact with some of their things from my side. And so when I do ask, they either recognize my name or they're at least familiar with it a little bit. That's what I did with the Jeff Ross one. And then while from there, I'll just like look into their stuff. And so like there isn't just send this email and then they reply. The majority of the email I like to give, like I said earlier, look for the low hanging fruit. If there's something broken or that can be improved upon, or if they've written a book or have a podcast, like just go give them a 5-star review and write a review. But actually do those things and actually have read the book. And then that just starts, then like people like compliments, and that just starts the conversation easier.
So maybe something to consider that I'm curious your take is, what do you think is a reasonable time frame to expect someone to say, yes, be on my show, or yes, I can have you as a collaborator?
Yeah, so that's like what I was seeing earlier when we were kind of prepping this, of like I think we can, and I want to get moving to like get Adam booked on shows during this hour, but I think that it's really more of a long game of like you plant the seeds and you have the structure for like, okay, here are the 5 shows that I'm really going after. And every 2 days, I'm going to send a follow-up email just like, hey, just checking in, smiley face. Because I don't know if anyone has like replied to my first email being like, oh, awesome, let's book it. It's usually after the 3rd or 4th.
So do you think would you recommend an approach where someone should just send the compliment and no ask for the first message? So if there's shows you like, hey, I really love your show, here's how it impacted me, thanks so much.
Yeah, I think that that's probably an approach to life too, right? Of just like, if you see things on LinkedIn and on Twitter, like that you really like, just go engage with that stuff. But especially as you're starting to think in the context of a show, that's kind of that like flirting phase earlier before you come with the ask.
So I want to highlight a few of the things about how to figure out what shows to get on, and then we're going to get Adam sending more messages, or we might have it do it in the background because his internet's a little laggy for the show. But I want to show a few things. So number one is this is the attainables list that Mitchell was talking about. So you can't see it very well. Let me just make that full screen. So this is the list of every dream person I'd love to get to hang out with. And I think what you have to consider, this is for people I want on my show for on YouTube and Noah Kagan Presents podcast. It takes a long time. And so I think you have to be really intentional and have a vision about who you really care about. A lot of people are interested in saying, how do I get the most famous person? And I've just found that that doesn't do it, right? It's really about like, who do you really care about, or what shows really matter to you? I'm going to show 2 things that Mitchell put together that I think will be beneficial, which is let me show this one. So what I'm going to show you now is the like how to get shows. So here is chartable.com. So they actually have charts of shows. So this is ones that we recommended for Adam. And so chartable.com/charts, they have all the ones for health and fitness. The other site that you can use is podcastnotes.org. So podcastnotes.org has a lot of different things. You could search tags and they will recommend the shows. The strategy that I really like here that I'd recommend everyone does. Sorry about that. Is that when you're looking at these charts, a lot of people are like, let me just spam Noah. Let me spam Jay Shetty. Let me spam Tim. They're like the person that's getting hit up all the time. What you really need to target, and what are we calling it? The fire starter approach. And when you're trying to get on these shows for YouTube shows or podcast shows, really start with kindling. Start with smaller people who don't have as much audience, but they'll be way more excited, maybe more responsive to you. And so I think that's definitely something that that's worked well. And Mitchell, I think you have a great point. I'm just going to repeat. I know for myself, sometimes I expect it right away. Like I messaged this artist. He's got like millions of followers, PNB Rock. And I messaged him a few weeks ago and I said, yo, man, come on my variety show. I'm not even going to pay you any money, but I'll give you a bag of weed. And of course he didn't respond to me. But in my mind, I'm stupid and I'm not really putting in the effort to earn it. And I think that's a key thing that we should all be thinking about. So Mitchell, why don't we keep leading? So he looked at people on LinkedIn. He messaged them some flattery. What else could he be doing now?
Yeah, so let's pull up that outreach list and take a look at the shows that he has on there and which ones might be good fits, and then how we might approach reaching out to the ones specifically.
So I'm going to share the list on my screen so that you guys can see it easier. And then this is a template that you guys can all copy. I think we have it in the Google Doc, but the idea here, who is the shows that you want? Some of these are obviously bigger for Adam, but I think, maybe who are some of the smaller ones? And we recommended Chartable, podcastnotes.org, or look at the ones that you listen to, or, your friends maybe have relationships with.
Yeah. So let's click on that cool things entrepreneurs do, that first one.
Okay.
And then also, as we're pulling that up, Adam, when you're putting this list together, was there any show on there that you were most excited about, or that you consume yourself?
I consume a lot of these. I guess. I like Tim Ferriss. I like. Obviously that's a huge show. Obviously some of these are big, and part of the exercise was just to kind of list the ones I know of. All these would excite me, really.
So maybe something that might be a little bit easier because we can move faster, and we have about 30 minutes of the show to start getting Adam booked. Mitchell, do you think you could do it? Because Adam Internet sucks and the quality's not good. Do you think you could share screen and pretend to be Adam's producer or his booker?
Yeah, I could do that real quick before. So like one thing that I would maybe try to do here is like looking at some of these medium or smaller names, like this Tom Singer dude on the Cool Things Entrepreneurs Do. Just go find him on LinkedIn real quick, Adam, and just send a connection request, like, love your podcast. And again, like, it's kind of breaking the rule of sincerity, but I at least just want to get the ball rolling a little bit. You at least have heard of him in the show, and so if he accepts your thing right now, then we can message him. So that could be like, as you're getting the ball, as you're getting things rolling, like quick connection request, and then you could just ping them back and forth. But yeah, we could do. So when I was taking a look at this list, the one that stuck out to me was Chasing Excellence. So this dude, is it Ben Bergeron? I haven't heard of this person, but it looks like he has a podcast. And yeah, so can you connect with him or just follow?
You can always connect.
There you go.
Yeah. If you click more, there's always a connect button that's hidden. So I actually know Tom. And do you guys ever write messages in LinkedIn? I feel like I never even see those or read those.
Yeah.
Yes,
just send an invitation. Hey, your show seems neat. Adam, do you think you could open up more tabs on your browser, by the way? Are you going for a world record? Is this a Guinness that we're trying to compete with? That's also why your computer's so slow, dude.
No, it's because there's 10 adults in this house. You know, it's your show seems great.
I don't love that. Maybe so. Again, like ideally, you watch the show and you're saying a specific thing, but you maybe just tell him you love his message. Love that you're sharing entrepreneur stories. And then we'll open up Ben's channel and see if we could send him an email. The hardest part is crafting the initial email, but then the fun part is like you have all these seeds planted of emails that you spent time on, and then it's just like you just follow up every couple days.
Right.
But one thing I want to highlight while he's doing it, Adam, you paid a service to get you on shows.
Yep.
Right. Which I don't think is, I think a lot of people are experimenting, but you seem like you said the results weren't great.
Or have been on so far have not been great. It just seems like they have a very small audience. And, each podcast I've been on some, fairly big podcasts, and I still get emails from people saying like, that was the best episode I ever listened to. And like, they got really great value. So it's like, I feel like I understand I can't be on a Tim Ferriss right away, but I'm trying to find that middle tier where, where I can kind of have more listeners and help inspire more people.
All right, Mitchell, set it off. Let's start getting some more messages going as your booker, because we can't deal with Adam's slow internet.
Okay. Let's do this.
I'm going to share Mitchell. Mitchell, can you share your screen?
Yeah.
And maybe drive a little bit more. All right, people, this is the party time. So someone was saying that there's a thing called podcastguest.com where people can say, hey, I have a show, and people can say, hey, you can talk to me. Honestly, to me, that seems like loser town. It's like all the rejected people that don't have good guests or don't have good shows. I don't mean that in a negative thing. But I think there's something there where when we hope it's the easy way, it generally isn't as easy as we hope it is. Something to kind of think about. So Mitchell, why don't you kind of start showing some of the process that you're doing? Let's jump right in, man.
Okay, cool. So Ben was on the outreach list. I have not heard of this person, but it looks like he has a decent social following. So I'm just gonna open up some of his stuff, see what he's all about. And ideally, we've read his book and we could do the book angle and leave the review, but we're not gonna lie. So it looks like he's coaching events. Also, I'll sometimes look at events if they have something coming up that they want to promote, or if it's a new book that they want to promote. Again, like trying to get them to incentivize, get them something. And then so he's got a decent following here, and then built by.
It's actually really fun, dude. Honestly, watching you do this is the most interesting part of the show so far. Like, talk through how you're thinking about this, because I think there's actually a lot of wisdom that you have and experience in getting these results that you're not realizing.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at here, it's like he's active here. He has a following, but like Twitter, he doesn't really care about, it seems. And so I'm not going to reach out here, but it is interesting to see if they have DMs open here. So sometimes if they do, chances are that like they're there and they'll reply. So if he had that open, I would maybe be like, yo, love your show, or at least initiate the conversation. Again, it's better if I've already been like retweeting his stuff and following along. Same here with Instagram. I would say that he may or may not handle his own Instagram. So I probably wouldn't just start off by DMing him. But instead, let's look at his other, if he has like a YouTube as well. And like I've noticed with some of these people, and same with us. We're like just getting into YouTube again, not starting it, but just starting to trying to grow it. So if we could help him do that, that would be something that's a win-win. So that's interesting. He's got 33,000 subscribers here. That it feels as if his Instagram following is.
Do you ever grab their emails from the About tab on LinkedIn? Mitchell?
Sorry, that was fine. Yeah, so let's go through that. So like first off, it's like okay, looks like he does his podcast on YouTube as well, and then from like the About page, I think they have to put an email here. So usually it is the email that they use, or it'll be.
I don't think enough people actually know about that. There's an email there. Are you a robot, Mitchell? Or are you real?
So this might be a good exercise, Adam. If you want to start drafting an email to this admin, as we're sort of uncovering some other stuff in here, and then we'll just email Ben real quick.
And then two things. One, what YouTube plugin are you using? Is that called Channelytics?
Yeah, I have a couple. So this is vidIQ, and then this is Channelytics.
Okay. Adam, one thing that Scott Olson said that I thought was a really good question is, what podcast were you on that you said was that you were really proud of?
So I was on Art of Charm.
Okay. So how long ago was that?
A few years ago now.
And so have you asked him to come back on recently?
I did. I asked with Jordan, and he said they're not doing health and fitness anymore. But I like when I was on it, and I still get emails. I
know. I was cool in high school too. So we only have 20 minutes. Did you ask him for a referral? I know he's not doing it, so that happens. But is there a referral from him that you could have gotten? Like, hey, does it make sense there?
Right. That's a good question. I didn't ask him for that. No.
Okay. So let's do that. Let's Mitchell, keep driving. I'm trying to just highlight a few things.
Yeah. So here I would maybe even, so he's got 33,000 subscribers. In the other video, Noah, that you did with Neville, you kind of pointed out how the majority of your subscribers come from the video descriptions rather than anywhere else. But like here, he doesn't really do a good job of saying, hey, go subscribe. He adds this like random follow us on social, and then the breakdown, and then other like subscribe to the podcast. If I were doing this, I would probably just like take one of ours where we've already done it and just say, hey, here's an example of how you should do your descriptions. It could double your or how to format your descriptions, and it could double your subscribers. And like just give that to them and be like, P.S. We love your show. Would love to come on. Do you have 30 minutes next week or something like that?
So one thing, Mitchell, that I've been experimenting with that actually is kind of a reverse. So Adam, you do have an audience, right? Like you have an email list of how many people? I have an email list of 15,000 people. Sorry, your internet was choppy, dog.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. It's about 20,000 plus.
Mitchell, you see where I'm going?
I do.
So Adam, if you emailed me and said, hey, I want to promote you to 20,000 people, do you think I'd probably respond?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's so cool. I have eyebrows. Eyebrows are so underrated. I wish people love their eyebrows more often.
When I went to the office this morning.
Yeah. So Adam, I think as we're doing these messages, why don't you say, hey, I'd love to like promote you to my 20,000 people in a future thing? Because right there, you have an advantage that most people don't. And maybe you could include them like, hey, here's a few people that I've been following that I think will be helpful for you. Because I think with this life, there is generally a two-way street. Like, so why do people bring on guests? Right. So like, why did I bring on the Strava founder? Because I want to learn how this guy runs his business.
Right.
And then why does he come on the show? Because he wants to share his wisdom, and he's a good dude. He's a great guy, actually. And I also think theoretically, it should be beneficial to Strava.
Right.
Okay. Mitchell, can you help send some of these messages? Because I don't really want to trust Adam's internet.
Yeah, let's do one. So let me pull up this doc. I think I put like a framework of one in there.
All right. Sorry for all the. We're just. So yeah, Mitchell. The thing I was saying with Adam is that we should angle it as, hey, I have an audience that I'd like to promote. I think it's kind of a weird email to send if you say, hey, I have this audience. Like, let me come on your show and I'll promote it to them. Because you kind of know what they're trying to do.
Easier to ask. Yeah. So you're saying to send to his own audience?
Just as a way of approaching it. So yeah, but keep going, Mitchell. Keep driving.
So I would do a variation of this email to Ben. So let's see here. We won't do. Let's just do this in another.
So, by the way, I just want to show everyone this. Like, as we're doing this show, Mitchell, okay, keep going, Mitchell. But what I wanted to highlight, I literally just got a request now live for someone to come on my show. Can I just show it because it's so bad while you're getting that ready, Mitchell?
Yeah, do it.
It's just so bad. It's like we're just talking about the shit. So, oh damn, I shared the wrong tab. So let me just show real fast because it is pretty interesting that. And it's pretty funny. I would say my reply. So this Nicholas Comancini, it's a really cool last name. Big fan of the show. That's total bullshit. You probably never listened to one episode. He just raised $35 million Series C. I want to see if our CEO and founder would be a good fit for the podcast. Cheers. And then yeah, look up. Do you see my reply, Mitchell? I charge $10,000 per guest. So. This is what every bozo is saying. It's not that I hate Nicholas, but it's like, why the fuck I don't even know what niche.com is. It sounds like a spam website. And if they got 35 million, why don't they just give me 1 million? All right, Mitchell, take over the screen. I keep having too much fun here today. All right, Mitchell, keep walking us through your line of thinking.
So the hypothesis is that Ben cares about YouTube, and so we'll just play that angle.
We can't see your. Okay, yeah, we can see your writing. It's just a little slow. Keep going.
And so we'll do a subject, growing your YouTube channel, promoting to my audience of 20K. We'll play around with that actual subject later. But okay, love your YouTube channel and content. Noticed a few low-hanging fruit opportunities to have a huge impact on growth. And then probably get rid of that one unless you have. Has there been a recent episode that you've listened to by chance? Let's just use this one.
Well, someone watching the stream just emailed me that now people are dicking around. Someone just emailed me, Mitchell. Hey, I was wondering if you're looking for a great guest for your podcast show. Now people are just starting to email it to me. Everyone email me. Yeah. Noah@okdork.com. If you just say, hey, can I be on your show? I will give you my bank account. I'll put you on the show, whatever else you want. I'm looking at you, John Wilson. Don't ever email me again.
So I'm just going to grab one of our recent videos. And again, I don't even. This is kind of like a part of my thing of like if I'm gonna reach out to somebody and take the 5 or 10 minutes, like take the 20 minutes instead. Like if I'm gonna do something, like do it rather than like kind of half-ass it like I kind of am right now.
No, take your time. Here, let's just do one email really well. Just take your time. Don't rush it then.
Okay.
So someone's saying that the subject line is spammy, and something that we've talked about, Mitchell. We generally like coming up with a few subject lines, but that's the one that you've sent, and you said it's worked for you.
What do I have in here? Grow your YouTube channel. Yeah. So it inherently the ask is a little bit different and harder when we're trying to go on his channel. So it's easier to say promote, just leading with like promoting you to my audience of 20,000 people of like, oh, you should come on my show, and like I'll just promote you because I love your stuff. So here, I mean, we can maybe lead with that, but trying to play the YouTube channel angle a little bit. But yeah, we always come up with like at least 5 different subjects. And then I'm just gonna pull.
Okay. You know what's interesting about these live shows, Mitchell, for watching as a guest or watching as an audience, is that their work is boring. Right?
Yeah.
Like people want to see, like let's see them like doing bong rips or push-ups, which I did before the show, or at the end of the day, a lot of it is just sitting your ass down and putting in the work on the most important things. I think one thing I want to highlight as you're working on this is that Adam knows that being on a show, like you've been on my podcast, I think twice in the past few years, it drives you customers to mybodytutor.com. And what I want to highlight is you guys could go get on a bunch of shows and it could not make a shit ton of a difference. And so I think what I would encourage is thinking about the best use of your time. So lately I get hit up, but this guy, Ben, just hit me up earlier yesterday. It was like, hey, can you come on my show? And so I try to allocate my Thursdays and Fridays either to office hours and sometimes do the shows. I know it's not like a return on time that's great, so I don't always want to do it, but I also want to pay it forward and pay it backward for people that gave me a chance. But I think what I'm really trying to highlight, what I'm trying to highlight is just be intentional with your time to make sure it's a good use of it. And if this, for Adam, he has very expensive customers, like his lifetime value of a customer is really high. So getting on a show and even just getting one person for My Body Tutor is very valuable. Dude, that is the longest email I've seen in forever. Mitchell.
It's not done. It's not done. Hang on.
Look, whatever works. Look, guys, this is the chef, right? Sometimes the chef, they cut the onions. I love garlic. Adam, are you a garlic fan?
I love garlic.
My dad used to eat garlic all the time and he smelled like shit. Like he had the worst smell. Sometimes I think he used to wipe his butt without toilet paper. I was like, dude, you smell so bad. Oh, David Bordeaux. So yeah, look, man, I want to highlight some of these people because, some of this show, we've had some technical difficulties. Thank God Adam doesn't run an internet business. He runs a service-based business, I would say. But yeah, so David Bordeaux said it, man, is that work is boring. But it helps you know that you're on the right track. I think one of the things I really want to highlight from Mitchell that he's doing is that most of us, when we're sending these emails, like when I was messaging Jason Calcanis, or you want to get on some show, like not even in the elite shows, but even the small shows, most people are sending these shitty ass quick emails saying, hey, can I get on your show today, right away? Give me. And I think what Mitchell's showing, not even I think, what Mitchell is showing is that this is one email to just one person. And if it's that important to you, how much work are you putting into it? How much effort are you putting into it? My buddy Daniel was applying for jobs recently, and they gave him a take-home assignment. And in the take-home assignment, it was, 3 questions. He spent literally 3 days straight working on this. I wonder how much other people did. And if you're really trying to get certain things in life, I would ask yourself that, like, how much are you putting? Like Adam, for his business, he's been doing it 10 years. Adam, for his clients, he does it. He's available literally almost 24/7. I don't know how his wife's okay with it, but she's an amazing woman. And so the real question is, like, are you putting in the work for the results that you're hoping for? Because if you're not putting in the results, like, I don't know if you can expect the outcome. One thing, hey, can I tell you guys another dick move that I do to people? Do you guys want to hear about my dick moves? I think it's not big dicking, it's kind of a dick move. Adam, you want to hear about it while he's writing this stuff? Dude, your internet's not even good enough. I'm going to tell you guys anyways, because I think you guys want to hear about it. So one of the dick moves I like doing is when someone emails me these shit emails. This is a great email from Mitchell, and you could tell this is already like 20 minutes he's worked on one email. But one of the dick moves that I do is when someone emails me and like, I love your show. Can I be a guest on it? And I'm just like, oh, fuck you, man. You're being lazy. Mitch, I don't know I think I've told you this. So I always email them like, oh, which show was your favorite and which part of that show did you really like? Did I tell you I do that?
Yeah, maybe.
And so I asked them, I'm like, oh, what did you love? What was the favorite part of the show? And then of course they're fucked because they don't actually listen to the show. And then they have to go listen to a show. And then they tell me what it is. And then I'm like, yeah, we're not doing it. I think literally only once ever have I gotten a cold pitch of someone I didn't know that worked out. And I think it was Elliot Marshall, who I went on his show, but he just had a really interesting pitch. And so I think what he did was, he's Jewish, which I'm Jewish. And so that resonated, but he's also a UFC fighter and he's a fucking cool dude. And so he crafted, or the person that was working with him crafted something very custom for me that got me excited to respond. So I think for Ben, if that's where we want to get Adam, how do we make it so that Ben is excited to hear from Adam? Oh shit, John Bennett's here. What's up, Jonathan? Mitchell, how are you feeling mentally?
Mentally, I am feeling great.
Awesome. All right, let's keep rocking.
Can you grab the I just always copy and paste ours. I don't even know where the YouTube subscribe.
Yeah, so go to his channel. Just go to his channel. If you guys are ever trying to send a link to your subscribe, so take out the about.
Oh, it's just the about that needs to get. Okay.
Yeah, delete that. Yep. So one thing that Mitchell's doing, and Mitchell, as you're writing it, I'm calling it out. Mitchell is sending him something valuable that if Ben is doing YouTube, which Ben is, Mitchell is saying, hey, here's what you should do that'll get you more subscribers. So even if like Ben doesn't want Adam on the show, Ben is getting immediate value for something that we can tell is important for him. By the way, if you guys are not subscribed to our YouTube show, it is youtube.com/okdork. You guys should go subscribe to that if you're not already subscribed. One video while Mitchell's getting this ready, how many people are interested in getting their first 1,000 signups or users? That's something that I put a video together yesterday. So I'm curious how many people are trying to get their first 100 signups or 1,000 signups or 1,000 users of their product. This is for halldrop.com. It was showing exactly how we got our first 1,000 people to sign up for the website. Dude, Srivasanan, Srivasanan says he hates Noah's podcast. I always have to stop in the car every 5 minutes because the gold nuggets he throws in my ear. Okay, true story. A year and a half ago, Adam, I got this really great piece of earwax, like a gold nugget in my ear. Like if you think about it, earwax is literally gold coming from your ear. All right, Scott, Charlotte, they want to see the 1,000. So yeah, we just put out that video is going to be coming out. You can see the service halldrop.com, and it was exactly how we got it. Some of the things that were really interesting for Hall Drop as we're doing this is giveaways worked. I'm getting off track, but I'm just sharing things while Mel Mitchell's writing. I'm trying to keep you all entertained. That's what we do here. So halldrop.com. But yeah, I'll put out that video about how we got our first 1,000 users in 30 days. And the number one way we did it was giveaways, but there's some other really interesting things like hand-to-hand combat and growth loops. Oh, Chris Bain just subscribed. Hell yeah, man.
So okay, let's clean this up a little bit and send it over to Ben, and then we can follow up maybe with a Instagram DM.
So
Noah, how would you clean this up?
Yeah, so if the audience look at the template, and we'll link to it on okdork.com/getting-feature-doc. So one thing I gotta highlight, everyone pay attention to this. You have a different font in there, and I think people can always tell. They're like, oh fuck, they're copying and pasting a template when there's that different font. So control all of this and then make sure it's the same font and the same size, because that subscribe link was different. Ugh,
right,
beautiful. So if you're using different fonts, people know it's a template. Hall Drop, HAUL drop.com. So hey Ben, love your YouTube channel and content. So I think your transition's a little weird, don't you think? And then you write, I'm a big fan of his show twice. So has he interviewed someone else like Adam, where maybe Adam disagrees, or someone else that could be just as interesting? Like, did you look at his show to see if there was anything similar to that? So a lot of times what you're looking for, so like I've been on Tim Ferriss's show. He's been a friend for a long time. Pat Flynn, Lewis Howes, Tony Robbins. So one thing I want to highlight is I'm not here name dropping or bragging. I'm not Tony Robbins. I don't name drop. But I think the point is that you see me on the show, or you might have heard me from those shows. It wasn't that they came out and begged me to get on the show. I think there's two things that were really important. One, are you doing interesting things that people want to talk to you about? And if not, go do fucking interesting shit. That's it. Go do something interesting. And number two, if you are doing interesting things, Tim, Pat, Noah, Adam, Mitchell, Charlotte, Denny, all of us are busy. Every single one of us is busy. And so if they're busy, you have to tell them what interesting things you're doing and keep following up with them to make it important so that they are excited to have you on the show. And for all the shows I've been on, I think except Tony Robbins, I had to persist and bug them to get on the show. And so I think that's important to realize. So a few things that Points Panda actually said is that if they're not a fan of the show, I wouldn't lie and say I'm a fan of the show. But if you do say like, hey, your YouTube channel seems really amazing, or it seems really helpful, that's honest. And I think that's really important. I think the more that it's authentic and sincere, the better. And so
yeah, 100%. That's like that's like my whole thing. That's why this is really hard for me.
That's a good thing. Okay, so keep going with that, Mitchell.
So it's like when I look at the list, like even our attainables list, like I haven't even reached out to some of the people that I don't like care about personally, just because it's like it's so much easier when I have actually like watched. If I was really gonna reach out to this Ben dude, like I wouldn't start crafting an email to like I've watched at least 5 of these videos, or like subscribe to his
really important
YouTube thing.
That's really important.
Another thing too, of like I would look on the website, and like chances are he has like an email list. Maybe he doesn't, maybe needs one, but like that's another way too to start the conversation of like, hey, just subscribe to your email list, love the your autoresponder or whatever, like get into their stuff. And then like the whole process down the stream, while it takes a little bit of more time initially, it makes like all of this way more sincere and easier.
So Mitchell, let's not send it if it's not sincere. So maybe Adam, what we could do with this is, instead of actually saying like, hey, let me get on your show, ask right away, Mitchell, why don't you follow the approach that's Mitchell, right? And keep it real, which is like, yo, hey, here's something that's helpful for you.
Yeah. So maybe just pointing out like basically what you and Neville walked through on how to clean up the YouTube channel page and description pages.
So 2 suggestions if you want to try to do big dicking stuff, Adam. And one idea that's actually, this works really well, is that when you email Ben, you say, hey, Ben, I'm interested in sending out one of your videos to my 20,000 audience. Which one is your favorite, or which one are you recently most proud of? Where does he fucking come up with this shit? So, but the point here is then he's like, oh, fuck, this guy's going to promote me to his thing. And I think what Mitchell really highlights is that be sincere and Mitchell, you're better than me at this. This is why you do it all day and I don't, is that I really think you focus on the relationship and the value and the value of quality exchange, or the quality of value exchange. You're not just like transaction. You're like, yo, I legitimately, and I think I want to highlight what you said as well. I watch 5 videos. I subscribe to their email list. I subscribe to their Instagram. I subscribe to their YouTube. I do all this work, and then I'm actually crafting these messages, and then I'm following up.
Yeah, that's huge. So I almost would like structure this outreach sheet to say like, who are the 5 that I'm gonna like take a deeper dive for and go, and then like you could have that be like your tier 1, that you're however you want to structure it, but you'll allow yourself to go down the rabbit hole a little bit with like your favorite 5, and then the other ones maybe you just do just a quick sort of outreach, whether it's the LinkedIn thing or looking for something or just starting to subscribe to their stuff.
So maybe what we should do here, just at least today, Adam, is that why don't we send some of these emails that are just like compliment emails and flattery emails to the shows that you actually like legitimately? And this Ben one, why don't we just have you send that email, show the email again, Mitchell? And Chris, yeah, great point. Scott, great point as well. They're saying, what is that person's priority? And how do you tell that person's priority? Look at what they're doing. And Chris said it as well. Like, what are they promoting the most? And I think that's a really great question. So instead of sending all the bottom stuff that's asking, which Mitchell, you don't do, right? And so let's not do it. Just send the flattery at him and start the relationship. And then maybe the second email after he says thank you is, hey, I'd actually think this, is there any video you really like that I could promote to my audience? And that builds the relationship. So eventually they're excited. Like what you really want to do with podcasts and things like that, you want them to ask you. Like no hot guy ever gets hit on. That's a fact. But that was a joke. No hot girl goes and hits on guys. Ever. Just don't.
Right.
People hit on them. And so how do we make you the hot girl? And I think right here, it's building a thing where you do that, you send a promo, you start saying, yeah, man. And then he's going to start being interested in you because you're helping him out. Like all the people that are there that I've been on, like the top ones, I've either sponsored them, like from a long time ago, like Tim, I sponsored as a friend for years. We were paying him before it costs too much now. And I helped him sell his books and all these other things. And then I keep working on my own stuff. And then eventually, and I'm saying, I'm working on this interesting stuff. I think your audience really like it. He's excited to come on. He's excited to have me come on. All right. So why don't we send a few of these flattery emails? It's already past our hour. We didn't accomplish really a lot of the actual thing, but I think the second half of the show where Mitchell took over was really valuable and powerful. So maybe what are some of the takeaways for you guys as Adam is going to send some of these flattery emails? Let me put it like that. Mitchell, Adam, takeaways, thoughts as we wrap up the show?
Yeah, I mean, the secret is there's no secret. It's not what the people want to hear. But like, I think that more so it's like having a system in place. So rather than like, oh, I could go on any show, it's like first identifying the list of 20, which we've already done. And then from that list say, okay, this week I'm going to focus on these 5, or just start with 1 and start to kind of like subscribe to the content and then like go through the flirting phase a little bit. And then like let your inspiration kind of guide you to whatever one you're most excited about, really.
Adam, what are some of your takeaways? Yeah.
So hopefully this works. So I wrote a comment in the thread. I wrote, sorry, my internet is so slow. It works for work, but clearly not live interviews. Here's what I've learned. Leverage your own network. It turns out I know over a dozen people who host their own show. I didn't know that. Number 2, how can I help the person get what they want? Example, more listeners, viewers. So I can mention my email list, something I wasn't doing before. Number 3, create a system. List out podcasts and videos I want to be on. Track when I first reached out and follow up. Number 4, ask people for referrals, even people that have interviewed me before. That's the big takeaways. But just the leveraging your own network, and then really, of course, focusing on what they want. So it's a win-win.
Bro, that was great. Holy shit. So Mitchell, we should just cut the show in half. And the second half of the show, I thought was actually, no, honestly, I thought the second half of the show was great. First half of the show, started slowly. And it's also, I think when we bring on guests, we need to check the Wi-Fi speed ahead of time. And so, the audience, as much as, sometimes I think we take for granted, Adam, like you with health and fitness, I think we take for granted what we know. And I think with what Mitchell has been showing today and what we were walking through with you is, wow, there's actually like a lot more to it. It is work, but there's also a lot more to it. So maybe, can you repeat those? Because those are so damn great.
Sure. So I wrote, number 1, leverage your own network. It turns out I know over a dozen people who host their own show. I did not know that. Number 2, how can I help the person get what they want? Example, more listeners, viewers, so I can mention my email list. So it's a win-win. Number 3, create a system. List out podcasts I want to be on. Track when I first reach out and follow up. Number 4, ask people I know for referrals, even people that have interviewed me before.
Yeah. And I think some of the things that people are taking away, Jason Blake really liked the demonstration. Dieter says, be sincere. Chris Baden is a superstar, man. I love this guy. He said email structure, checking out StreamYard, which has actually been pretty smooth. Mitchell, it's been pretty interesting. We're going to do this on okdork.com/group, by the way. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing office hours, I think around 11:30 to 12. Or if you have specific questions on starting or growing your business, I'll be able to help you there. Staying focused on the speaker and the guest and really prioritizing them, structuring the emails. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And I think sometimes we see these dishes or we see a person get a show and we're like, oh, that's cool. And they don't realize like how much effort you really need to be putting in. I think what Daniel taught me this weekend, or maybe even more reminded me, and especially Adam, what you just said, and Mitchell, what you do on the regular, is how do you guarantee something? Think about it that way. So how would I guarantee to get on, like Tim Ferriss is obviously one of the top, or Joe Rogan. I would like to get on the Joe Rogan show. Okay.
You're going to be on there, bro.
I will. I will. And so the question then is, how do I guarantee to get on the Joe Rogan show? Okay. So I think that's what we're saying with you, Adam, on getting on these shows, or everyone out there who wants to get on whatever show they want to get on. And so to guarantee to get on Joe Rogan, number 1, I could start saying it, just putting it out there, right? Like, hey, this is what I want. I want to get on Joe Rogan show. I want to get on Joe Rogan. But being a desperate bitch won't get you on the Joe Rogan show, especially on the Joe Rogan show. So number 2, the way I would approach it is, who's on the Joe Rogan show that I already know? Naval, probably James Altucher, some of the people that have been on my podcast, Aubrey Marcus, who's an investor and a good partner with him. Tim Kennedy, a lot of big dicks out there. So have I helped those people enough where I feel comfortable saying, hey, can I do a 5-minute call with you? Like, how do you brainstorm? What do you think would be interesting? Or go to them and say, hey, here's 3 things I think would be super interesting for Joe Rogan, for his show, for us to talk. What do you think is the best way to approach it? A lot of times what I like doing is getting advice from people. And that's the way that they actually will end up helping you. And so from there, you have to stick with that. And okay, if those people don't do it, then I would find out from how did they get on the show? Is there a booker? So a lot of these celebs, I don't know if Joe has it, but I know like Tom Bilyeu, he has an amazing guy, I think his name's Christopher, who does the booking. So can you find the booker? Or are they part of a network? Or are they part of something that you can get access to? And I don't know if you think about this, Mitchell, what blows my mind about 2020 and beyond is the accessibility of people is insane. You want to get a hold of anyone? Right, dude, it's a joke. If you're willing to put in the work, you can get a hold of anyone you want. But it may not happen right away. But if you want it to happen sometime in a year and you work your ass off for it. And the other thing to ultimately for Joe Rogan or whatever shows you're trying to get on, Adam and everyone else out there, why the fuck should you be on the show? at the end of the day, like if you have nothing interesting to say, like of course they shouldn't have you on. And so I think you have to just be, Adam, and I think you do it, focused on doing interesting things that they want to talk to you about. Any parting words, Mitchell?
Yeah, just thinking through Adam's situation too. It's like it's super powerful that you have so many people that you've like helped and like actually changed their lives, and so like sharing some of their stories, whether that be on LinkedIn or socials or however, but incorporating that into the story. It's just like, oh, I want to do this more for your audience, to whoever you're reaching out to. That's super impactful.
Yeah, Adam, how much have you promoted other people?
I mean, I try to share things I like of people I like, but that's interesting. I mean, I don't have a system where I do it regularly. I mean, if I come across a great podcast or a book or an article, I'll share it with my people, with my newsletter.
I actually think that's kind of interesting. I like that, Mitchell. Like maybe every week that we should like, Mitchell, can we put that in our checklist? Like each week we should, whoever we're trying to like work with on the attainables list, we should promote them each, like at least once a week. Like pick someone and we just promote their stuff and don't ask for anything. I like that.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
I like that.
I mean, ultimately, it seems like it's all about building a relationship, right? I mean, no great podcast host is just going to invite you on without knowing who you are, because, like you said, they're the hot girl. Oh, everyone wants to be on their show, so they have to get to know you first, get to know why you care, get to know what your expertise is, and I mean, it's going to be you have to nurture the relationship. And I think the one thing I've learned.
All right, buddy. Your audio. The one thing you've learned is to not come on a fucking show with shitty internet. I hope
sorry.
It's not. Don't be sorry. Love means
He's at his in-laws.
Love means never having to say you're sorry. And if you haven't seen that movie, I recommend everyone to go watch it. It's an hour and 15 minutes. I love Adam Gilbert, mybodytutor.com. Mitchell Landon Cohen. He's everywhere. He's the Dork executive producer. He's King Dork. And you guys keep fighting out there. We love you underdogs and you action takers. See you out there.